currently 7:30 on a Monday morning. Left the house around 7:25. Currently got to run a little errand, and then I'm on my way to the gym. And, I believe we had to talk about the gas station too before I go to the gym, or maybe after. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure I'll make it over there, but I'm not sure yet. Anywho, it's been a fine rest weekend. Not feeling 100% right now, but that's okay. You know, we still gotta go to the gym, regardless of how I feel. As far as whether I'm 100% charged or not, I gotta get those gains in, right? But I've been learning a lot. You know, this past week. And you know, this time today, my first video comes out, which you guys will see this video following week. Yeah, it's, you know, a lot of fun. I got 4 videos finished and prepared for this whole week. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And it's going to be the same the subsequent week. I use my rest days to get the video productions in. It's not, you know, it's not a normal or like the new kind of Sam Sulek style of editing, which is a very simple but honest style of editing, which obviously I'm inspired by, right? But my editing has a bit more to it, and there's a little bit more work that needs to be done into it. I mean, you know, you look at someone like Sam Sulek's content, like he's already putting enough work in the gym, and you know, spitting knowledge and tracking his, doing his fall cut and everything. So why the fuck would he need to? Why would he need to make it worse with having a very highly edited video? At that point, you'd have to pay like a team if you wanted to have a good amount of time efficiency. But you know, in my case, I'm fine with doing the highly edited stuff. Me and my girlfriend, well, primarily me. I'm primarily working on this stuff, but she helps me with some of the stuff. I currently have her slaving away to make me a cool channel banner. So hopefully that'll be up by the time this video will come out. But yeah, but I've been learning a lot of stuff this past weekend and whatnot. And of course, this past week, as far as like nutrition and stuff like that, and diet, which when I first lost weight, I never really had any conscious knowledge about the stuff that I learned about. Mostly because the stuff I was eating was like, I was just eating consistent meal prep stuff, so I was able to lose weight without having to give it too much thought. But these days, you know, I'm out 90% of the day, so sometimes I don't have the luxury of having the ability to make a meal prep. Even on my rest days, I'm out a good chunk of the day. And the times that I am not out, you know, I'm editing my video or I'm like trying to hang out with my girlfriend. So as a result of this, you know, I've been looking more into and learning more about the way I should structure my diet, macro and micronutrient wise, and the types of things I should start going for. Because you know, I'm not always in a position where I can make my meal preps. I'm more so these days in a position where I'm having to, you know, potentially go out to eat. Like maybe go to a Publix and grab something from them, or a Wawa, or a Kroger, or even you know, Panera Bread, Chick-fil-A, or something like that. I try to, when I go to these fast food places, or I go to a grocery store that may have food, I try to be very conscious about what I'm getting. You know, so one thing that I'm trying to like be more aware of is, you know, obviously the macronutrients. You know, I've been pretty good about trying to track all my macros really well. The other thing is having a micronutrient-rich diet that encompasses all my typical vitamins and stuff, and my fiber. Particularly trying to get a lot of soluble fiber in my system. From what I understand and from what I have read, that very well may be the key to help me feel more satiated. And it would make a lot of sense because my previous diet with the meal prep, it had high fiber high fiber pasta. Right, the pasta that I was eating was very high in fiber, and so was many of the other things that were in that meal prep in particular. It had a lot of like beans, like kidney beans and stuff, which legumes and beans in general all are very high in fiber. Like last night when I had done, as heinous as eating a can of chicken may be, it's useful sometimes. Last night I just had, because I had pretty much, at that point, I had pretty much had just about maxed out my calories with the exception of 700 or so with all my fitness pal. So I maxed them out before I got into my calorie deficit. So after I ate the 700, I would be, once I eat the 2,400 calories, I would be in a 500 calorie deficit at my current weight, height, and age. At least that's what my fitness pal tells me. I'm not very sure how accurate it is. Maybe it worked for me the first time. So but I had measured out, and another thing I learned is that when it comes to measuring, cups can be fine for low calorie items because sometimes the calorie difference can be negligible, but for high calorie items, you want to be exact with it. Like you want to be down to the grams, the ounces, or whatever. I think grams are probably the preferred method. And luckily my girlfriend has a little scale, not necessarily a food, she didn't get it for food, but it can function as a food scale because it was for shipping lightweight items. So, but so using that, I was able to, create, there was these beans, great northern beans that had chicken bouillon seasoning, salt, and a little bit of tomato paste to kind of give it a nice good amount of flavor. Combine that with about a cup of that with just one whole can of Wellsey Farms chicken, which in this case, Wellsey Farms is BJ's brand. If you're familiar with that Whole Food sale or wholesale grocery store, that's their brand. So I was able to eat that, and that did really well as far as getting me to where I got to go. I was about 4 grams of fiber out from where I needed to be, but that's okay. It's better than what it used to be. I'm trying to find ways to incorporate more beans, more. I want to say part of me wants to have a little bit more oats in my diet, but I want oat bran in particular, and I want to try to be careful with that because I don't want to have, because I'm like any other guy. I like my oats sweet, right? Kind of like a, whatever. However, I don't want to have it upsettingly sweet or to the point where it's adding too much. So I might experiment there and look into that. I was thinking maybe some honey of some kind would be ideal. I'm not sure. Like I said, just gotta look more into that. Like a non-fat milk with a honey combination might be the way, but we'll see. I'll look into that, how well that does with oat bran, because I want to find a way to have a nice, simple, digestible sugar that's gonna be quick to help me get my soluble fibers in. Because from what I understand, soluble fibers slow down digestion, because apparently it gels in your stomach. It helps slow down digestion, and that helps keep you fuller longer, and it helps satiate. Satiate? It's satiary, something like that. Yeah, you can say the word. It helps. It helps me make you full, and that is where a lot of people like myself, when you just raw dog trying to lose weight, and if you don't think about things like that, if you don't even look it up, like I never knew about that. It was just because of my previous diet, the way it was set up, because someone who knew what they were doing had set it up, all my diet really consisted of was recipes from Stealth Health Life off of Instagram. Because somebody who knows what the hell they're doing created that diet, I ended up having a diet that was able to make me feel fuller longer, it keep me away from snacking unnecessarily and having to eat more than I need to. So I was able to be very strict with my calories at that point. Excuse me. So, learning a lot, and my diet as a result is looking a bit better. Like yesterday, I went off and got Mediterranean salad with chicken or Panera Bread. Now, I know the joke is, or the thing is, whenever someone's trying to lose weight, they just tell you to go eat a salad, fatty. However, the salad you may eat, the salad you may consume, may not be very low in calories, and it may not contribute very greatly to your macronutrients. Obviously, a salad's going to do well for your micronutrients because it has all the veggies and stuff like that. And in this case, it was a Mediterranean salad, so it had things like cucumbers, olives. There's some other thing. I think there's some onions in there and whatnot. I don't know. I forget what's in that thing. Feta cheese. But and the other day, I had a green goddess Cobb salad with chicken. But the whole important part, these Panera items, they apparently have 500 calories to them, and the Mediterranean one was 650. I'm not sure if that includes the dressing, which is usually the part that gets you with salad. So that's the not the hard part, but that's the part that will get you. You can eat a salad all the ding dong day, but if you douse it in ranch, you douse it in blue cheese, you douse it in this, that, and the other, it's just gonna not be good for you, regardless. So I have to look more into if that is the case with Panera, if the calories are just the salad itself, or if it's the salad plus the dressing. I'm more inclined to believe it's a mix. I'm more inclined to believe that it's the salad plus the dressing, because they don't put enough chicken in there to warrant vegetables getting all the way up to 500, 600 something calories. But I eat that specifically for the micronutrients. And I had a little Fairlife protein shake. I need to get more whey protein. I'm out of whey protein. I was thinking about doing a mixture of that collagen protein, because collagen protein helps skin, nail, and health, or hair health. And just mixing that with whey protein, which is what I understand the difference between the two. Collagen does hair, nail, and health. Whey is more for muscle building. So if you combine the two, you can have, just health all around, it sounds like. So I gotta get more whey protein and potentially add collagen protein to my diet at some point. So that's the thing. The other thing, what else did I eat yesterday? What the fuck else did I eat? So my girlfriend was with me. I got her something from Panera, and as a result, I had 2 French baguette sides. Right, those ended up being my carbs for the day. And that's the thing I will say. Surprisingly, my diet has a very severe lack of carbs. I try to aim for 50% carb, 30% protein, 20% fat. That's just what I try to aim for. My fitness pal tried to do 30% fat, 20% protein, but I switched them around. I felt like the 30% protein might be a bit better. I could be wrong, I don't know. But I feel like that split may be fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. And to begin with, usually my carbs at the end of the day usually end up looking like 30-40% anyway. It's not even 50%, which I wanted to try to work on a bit more, but it's one of those things where it's kind of hard to do so, because in order for me to get the protein I need to get, the carbs end up falling to the wayside regardless of what I do. So it's just one of those things I have to, I'm not sure if it's a detrimental thing, having lower carbs than 50%, but it was like this before. My previous diet, that was always an issue, having little to no carbs, to the point where I had to supplement carbs. I think I've said this before, but like a Java chip Frappuccino from Starbucks, I would get that, and that drink, like if you get it with non-fat milk, no whip and everything, that thing is almost purely carbs. Just 100% fucking carbs. Obviously, the carbs that are in that type of drink may not be the best carbs for you because I imagine that the sweeteners they use isn't going to be exactly fantastic. However, from a pure carbs perspective, there's not many other options other than like pasta and rice that you can kind of go to do that. But the secondary function of me getting a Java chip was simply to satiate my sweet tooth, right? And it still worked at the time, and every now and again these days I still get one. I only get one when I'm not on my rest days. On my rest days, I cannot swing one because I need to get my macro and micronutrients where they gotta go, and including a Java chip frappuccino just is not going to do what I want it to do. So including that is no good. I'm gonna burn off, like today, I'm gonna burn off around 2,700 calories. According to my fitness pal, that's the estimated calories I'm gonna burn. 2,500 plus the 15 minutes of cardio. I need to up my amount of cardio, but for now, 15 minutes will do. Just because probably after my, I have chronic asthma, so after I get on this new treatment plan, and maybe my asthma gets a bit better, because I started to feel very asthmatic after about 15 minutes of an incline. So, and even like I don't want to use the rescue inhaler because you're not supposed to just fucking abuse it. So it's one of those things where I don't want to use it too much, and I'd rather just wait until to start getting to 20, 25 minutes, even 30 minutes of cardio after I have my after I get my new treatment plan on the way. So, anywho, I'm gonna be, all these new ideas are floating around. Like I said, I'm very much so a beginner. I'm watching all these new videos, reading all this new stuff, trying to check behind myself to find out the lore behind what I need to do, especially considering that I don't have as much time as I'd like to meal prep. And part of that is just me being selfish and not being a responsible adult and making the time to do so. But at the same time, it's just one of those things where the way my schedule works now, if I'm not in the gym, I'm off busy doing work or having to do other shit that I don't really want to do. So the time that I have off, I try to maximize the amount of fun factor, the amount of fun factor that I am having on my off time. Like I like video games, like watching anime and stuff like that. So I like playing music. I'm a musician. I like smoking cigars, even though it's not the best for you. I only have one occasionally. Don't freak out. And even then, it's not something that really affects asthma because it doesn't really go into your lungs at all. You just hold it in your mouth, and that's it. So before any internet professional, lung doctors come after me, just know I'm not promoting smoking as an asthmatic. Probably not the best idea. Never said it was. But secondly, because it's a cigar, it's not really doing too much as far as my lungs are concerned. So, that's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I have these hobbies and I have these things I want to do, and of course I want to spend time with my girlfriend. So there's that. And maybe I can start spending some more time with her, and we can cook my meal preps together, or something like that. Just something to do together. I'm not sure, just spitballing ideas to try to get it in, because right now, I recognize that I am kind of creating some excuses here as to why I'm not meal prepping, but at the very least, when I go out and grab something to eat, if I'm at a restaurant, if I'm at a fast food place, if I'm at a grocery store just grabbing something like a snack on, I'm at least trying to be very mindful of my macro and micronutrients and the types of things that are in there, like, if it's a soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, or what kind of sweetener it is. So anyway, I'll be seeing you guys at the gym. Catch you in a minute. So I just got to the gym. It's like 9:50 or so, a lot later than I would have liked, but came across 2 stray dogs, returned them to their owners, and then traffic stuck me up. So, but you know how it is. Life happens, whatever. But today, we're starting on the T-bar row as per usual with our upper body days. We're starting with 215 pounds of weight as a progressive overload thing. Last time was 205. So let's see if I can squeak out 215, see what I can do with that. And if not, then I'll just remove the 10 pounds, whatever, no big deal. It doesn't hurt to try. So let's see what we can do. just finished our T-bar rows. And I say changing the grip, it didn't really, I don't know if it activates a different muscle. I just didn't work out that particular grip long enough to find a difference, but I didn't really find a difference. You know, it is what it is. I got a good squeeze on my back regardless of the grip, I think. At least that's what it felt like. It could have been my positioning too, because I'm 6'3", so that machine's not exactly made, or at least it's very weird and uncomfortable for me to be putting my feet on it. I don't know, maybe I'm just coping and making an excuse. Maybe I should be putting my feet on it for better form, but I don't know. I feel like get a good squeeze out of my lower, not lower, but my the middle of my back, just the way I'm doing it. But who knows? I'm sure one day I'll get corrected and not want to do the ego lifting type of thing. But the next thing we're moving on to, oh, and for reference, the last thing was 10 sets of 8 reps. Started at 215, they worked its way down to 155. But now we're on to concentration curls. Let's see if we can do the 55s better this week. Last week, the 55s were a bit of a struggle, and I have no doubt in my mind that they'll still be a struggle. But for the sake of just wanting to see how far I can push myself strength-wise, why the fuck not, you know? Might as well. So let's get right to it. finished our concentration curls. Started off at 55s, 2 sets of 10, then went down to 50, another 2 sets of 10, then did 2 sets of 10 at 45s, and then did 4 sets of 10 at 40. Let me tell you, the 55, I was struggling. That's okay though, you know. There's no point in working out if you're just going to be within your comfort zone, so it's okay to struggle quite a bit with this stuff. It's the only way you can grow, progressive overload and such. Then we went off to the 50s, and the 50s, you know, there was also a little bit of a challenge, not as bad as the 55s, we still struggled, and the 45s were a bit more comfortable, and the 40s were a lot more comfortable. Anyway, I'm going to do some dumbbell presses. Not going to record that as per usual, but 10 sets of 10 reps, 80 pounds in total, 40 on each arm for 5 sets, and then another 5 sets for 35s on each arm, which would be 70 pounds. So let's see how this goes. So we just finished my dumbbell presses. Got 5 sets of 10 at 40 pounds each, and then we went to 3 sets of 10 at 35 pounds, and then 30 sets of 10, 2 sets of 10 at 30 pounds on each arm. So 80, 70, and then 60. So we are now moving on to tricep extensions, and this is a pretty easy one, so we're going to go ahead and get through. We're going to be starting at 40 pounds. I don't think I dropped this one. I had to check my log, but yeah, we'll be doing 10 sets of 10, 40 pounds throughout the whole thing. I'll only record like 5 sets though, but anyway, let's get on to it. Extensions. Did have to do a drop down to 35 after about 6 sets of 40. Went down to 35 for 4 sets, and that pretty much cleaned my triceps out pretty well. Now we got to move on to shrugs. Good God. Let's move on to shrugs, and then it's going to be lateral raises from there. The shrugs will be 35s on each side. It'll be 10 sets of 10 reps. We'll be doing them in pairs of 2, so with just a 10-second interval between the 2. and then between the second and third rep and the fourth and the fifth rep and so on, it'll be a little bit longer interval of rest. So let's get this going. Finished the shrugs. Now we're moving on to the lateral raises. Lateral raises will start at 17.5, and then after 5 sets of 10, we'll probably drop down to 15. Hopefully be able to be a little bit more than just 5 sets of 10, but that's how it was last time, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to squeak a little bit more. So, let's get going. nice lateral shoulder raises. My side delts feel fully worked. Now we're moving on to barbell rows. We're going up in weight by 10 pounds in total, but 5 pounds on each arm. We'll be doing 40s on each arm. It's going to be 80 in total. Previously it was 35 on each arm, so it's 70 in total. Not going to record this one. We're going to do 10 sets of 10. But I will record the next exercise, so I'll see you after I finish these. So we just finished the dumbbell rows. Managed to get a better squeeze out of my back this time around. I felt like the 35s towards the end of the week were a little too easy. It wasn't challenging me as much as it should be. The 40s were giving me a pretty decent challenge. I feel like if I did a drop set of 45 to 40s, that would probably be right where it needs to be. But it's good information to know that I probably should go a little higher. The next exercise is going to be reverse curls, 10 sets of 10. I'm going to go up from 17.5 to 20, see how much I can do 20, and if I need to, I'll drop back down to 17.5. Still going to do the forearm curls and wrist flexions at 17.5, just because that weight still gives me a pretty nice burn at that. I don't think I need to overload it just yet, because I'm still not fully comfortable with it. So, anywho, let's get on to the reverse curls. finished the wrist flexions and reverse curls. Made a whoopsie daisy. I was only supposed to do 10 sets of 8 on the reverse curls. Ended up doing 10 sets of 10. Whatever, not the worst thing in the world. My forearms are feeling not amazing. They're feeling pretty burnt out. Hopefully I'll be able to do these lat pull downs. Not as much problem as last week, but we'll see. I'm going to be upping the weight to 70 pounds on each arm, so 140 in total. And we'll see what we can do. Hopefully we'll be able to get 10 sets of 10 at 140. If not, we'll just drop it down to 120 and finish it off from wherever I gassed out on. So let's get going. we just finished 10 sets of 10 on lat pull downs. Only got to 6 sets before I had to do a drop to 60. So that's better than I thought I'd do. Honestly, I thought I was going to go into half and I had a drop. But unfortunately, no 15 minutes of cardio today. I got some important stuff I have to take care of after this. I'm in the shower, and I'll see you guys in the car. Got out the gym, just finished getting gas. You know, as they say, don't get no gas from the gas station, man. So, had a pretty good workout today. Unfortunately, tomorrow not gonna be able to do my leg day, so I'm gonna have to shift that to Wednesday, which is usually my rest day. But you know, considering I got important stuff to take care of, got jobs, got a life outside of the gym, which is rather unfortunate. I gotta do what I gotta do, and what I gotta do is just shift my leg day. Is what it is, I guess. Anywho, yeah, gosh, the theme this morning was talking about learning and stuff like that, and just figuring out how to go through a lot of this stuff as far as diets are concerned, and as far as working out is concerned. And cardio, and just about anyone who knows what they're talking about, I reckon, will tell you that, a good amount of cardio, I believe it's 150, somewhere around there, minutes a week, zone 2 cardio, which apparently is like 60% or so, 70% of your resting heart rate, your max, that is. So getting to that point, in my case, I'm working towards it. Let me fix this. In my case, I'm working towards it to get to the point where I can have that. I can only really feasibly do after, because I do at the end of my workout, I can only rather feasibly do 15 minutes of some zone 2-ish cardio. I mean, it is what it is. I can't really do much at the moment. I can't really do much beyond that without needing the use of potentially a rescue inhaler. And some of the exercises I do anyway kind of put me in that state of just being short-breathed, and it's things like the T-bar row and the leg extension. Those two things are probably the things that gas me out the most as far as my lung capacity is concerned. But that's, that is part of the reason why I'm trying to lose weight, right? So that way I can have an easier time navigating doing things and not have to worry too much about fucking dying from an asthma attack or something like that. Because being obese as I am, which I went down in weight today, good job for me. Last week I was consistently floating between 309 to 311. This week I am, I weighed in this morning after my workout. I weighed in at 306. It's a little bit more weight loss than I was expecting. I can't tell at the moment. I can't tell if it's just more factors into this right now. Obviously, by the end of the week, I'll have a more solid understanding of just how much I lost, or maybe it's Wednesday and Thursday will give me a better idea of what is actually going on. But weighing myself today, it was 306, which is a good sign. We're going down, which is what I want. Another thing I'd like to mention, as far as diet's concerned, I just had a Fairlife Elite protein shake. I like the strawberry flavor. I'm not a big fan of the vanilla, and the chocolate, it is what it is. I get my chocolatey sources elsewhere sometimes, but the strawberry, I find myself to have be more palatable for me. Gosh, I couldn't say that. The other thing I got is fucking Quest cookie dough protein bar. 190 calories, 21 grams of protein, 12 or 9 grams of total fat, and 22 grams of carbs, right? So it's 42% protein and everything else. Obviously, you can't live off of just those things. You can't live off of protein shakes. You can't live off of protein bars, much to our chagrin. You need micronutrients and various things of that sort, which is, later today, I plan on eating more rich type of things. Beans, chicken, maybe even the dreaded canned chicken, depending on where my calories are going to be at by the time I get to that point. Rice, if I decide to make that, or pasta. Various vegetables, onions, lettuce, tomato, cucumber, carrots, potatoes, whatever else. Just things of that sort, right? And, you know, it's very... Being a guy, getting up to the size that I got up to, I was very fortunate to be able to, like, stop myself before I started getting really out of hand. Because it was already kind of out of hand by the time I was 365. I mean, let's get real. You don't just get to that fucking weight if you have everything under control. But I'm very fortunate in the fact that I was able to stop myself before I went even further. And the biggest thing, you know, other than having an unsatiating diet, there's several things that kind of go into why, you know, people overeat. You know, I spoke briefly about it before when I talked about addiction. I think I did, or even before that. But the big things that really kind of go into it, A, mental health. Simple as it is. Simple as, right? Some people cope with overeating. They have comfort foods they have a hard time getting away from. And then to harp back onto the whole addiction thing, sugar addiction, right? Having these really sweet, sugary things, which is so commonplace these days. A lot of people find themselves, you know, having tons of sugary things. Sodas, candy, sweets, like bakery sweets and stuff of that sort. You can't fucking escape it. And then, even then, like you pair that and then you eat like fruits or something like that. Fruits are going to have a lot of sugars in them too. Albeit the sugars in fruits are a lot better for you than there are in other shit. But, you know, if you're eating the other shit and then you pair it with fruits, it's not really helping. Not really helping anything, right? You get a tropical smoothie, you get a little smoothie, you're like, I got a smoothie, it's a healthy option today. Then you look, they have a fuck ton of turbinado in there. Oops! Whenever I go to something like tropical smoothie, I always order with no sugar. First off, it tastes better without sugar, in my opinion. You know, fucking crucify me, I guess. Second off, you know, it's just so much fucking turbinado. Who the fuck needs all that turbinado? Granted, you can sub it out with a sweetener, like a Splenda type of thing, or whatever else they may have, Spiriva, I don't know. I don't even know if Spiriva is one of them. Stevia, that's the one. Spiriva is one of my asthma medications. Stevia is the one I'm thinking of. So, you have all these different, like, sugars. There's normal sugar things, brown sugar and white sugar, and then you have the artificial sweeteners. And the artificial sweeteners may be 0 calorie, but they do have issues with them, and having too much of it can cause, from what I have seen, may not be 100% accurate. As I said before, you know, I can come back on here tomorrow or the day after and then talk to you guys and then tell you completely new information that kind of shirks what I just said and whatnot. But from what I've read and what I have seen, some of these artificial sweeteners, particularly sucralose, in moderate or low volumes in terms of consumption, is not going to really do too much. But when you get to the point where you subbed out sugar completely to try to get to artificial sweeteners, you know, it doesn't do much. It ends up hurting you in different ways, and you still haven't really fixed the crux of the issue, which is your sugar addiction. Granted, I will say, sugar addiction, you know, what can you do? Sugar's in fucking everything. It's just a way of life these days, right? And it's really hard to navigate diets that go around having sugars. I mean, people they get sodas and stuff like that. They go get bottled tea, sweet tea, fountain drinks, this, that, and the other, and they don't eat juices. You know, some people may be like, I don't drink sodas, ha ha ha. But you probably drink juices. Little Starbucks drinks and stuff like that, that all has an excessive amount of sugar. Your coffee. You know, you may be the type of person who doesn't drink your coffee like a cup of joe, black, no cream. You may drink it with sugar, maybe even cream and sugar. Myself, I particularly drink, just a little aside, but I usually drink my coffee black with no sugar, no cream either. Sometimes, If the coffee is some hot, stinky ass, I will drink it with sugar and cream, but I usually use artificial sugar, and I may use 1 or 2 packets, and maybe like 1 little thing of cream. That's about it. I'm probably not the best for you, but regardless, if the coffee tastes like shit, I might as well try to make it taste a little bit better. But anyway, so the biggest thing about this whole addiction thing is that it's like a complete psychological battle. You have to try to get yourself away from it. Like in my case, I got away from I got away from soda in 2017. Completely cut soda out. And I thought that was going to help me exponentially in my diet. I was like, because a lot of people rack up calories and sugar intake excessively because they drink it. Obviously, you can pack in more when you drink it than you can eating it, right? Some people can only probably eat like a couple slices of cake, but they can probably down a whole, like 2 whole 2 liters, or like a couple of 12 packs of Diet or Dr. Pepper or Coca-Cola or Pepsi. So I got rid of it, trying to like be a little bit healthier, and water became my main drink of choice, and it still is. Water still is my main drink of choice, but that was only part of the equation. I was still having the occasional milkshake. I was still having ice cream, candy, sweets, snacks, and stuff like that. So cutting out the sugar, cutting out the soda didn't really do what it was supposed to do. It helps later down the line. It makes the transition to having a sugar-free diet, or as little sugar as possible, because you can't have a sugar-free diet. You need sugar. But, as little sugar as possible. It helps that transition a bit. But, man, sugar addiction, it's really hard to shirk. And food addictions and stuff like that, using it as coping mechanisms, it's really hard to shirk. And the biggest thing, I think, the first thing is you have to realize you have an issue, right? Whether you go to a therapist and they help you do it, or you figure that out on your own. I encourage any person who is fat, obese, overweight, as the TikTokers, the fat talk like to say, if you're a small fat, medium fat, large, super fat, or infinite fat, or whatever the fuck the labels are, if you're any of those things and you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to like figure out, how can I do this, how can I get away from these like really bad foods for me, in this copious amount of eating, this gluttonous consumption of food? Get a calorie tracking app. Quite frankly, track fucking everything. Track everything. Like when you are tracking everything, and this is the same for me. When you are tracking everything, you are going to become hyper aware of what you're eating. Now I know some of you fat talkers and people who are on extreme amounts of copium may be like, oh, that sounds like you have an undiagnosed ED. No, I used to use food as a coping mechanism for the traumas that I've experienced in my life, and the really sad events that happened in my life that just made it a little bit harder to live. Going to food was my way of escaping that. And most people who get to the size of, like, I would say 350 up, right? Maybe even 300 pounds and up, right? Or even less. I don't know, fucking don't quote me on this, because I'm not a psychologist or a therapist, and it's not medical advice or anything like that, but I would reckon that's probably fucking good. If you are 300 pounds of fat, not muscle, fat, if you're 300 pounds fat and up, chances are, odds are good, that you have mental health issues that you are utilizing food to cope with. By the time you get to 400, that is undeniable. There is no fucking way around it. You look at like shows like My 600 Pound Life, every person on that damn show has had some horrible childhood. They something bad has happened. They were, they had a lot of SA going on as a kid. A lot of horrible shit like that. Physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, all kinds of abuse. Stuff that would make, the brain trying to find a way to circumvent that trauma, which the brain is an interesting thing, by the way, as far as like just trying to like cope, right? The brain will find various different ways of coping, and some methods are healthier than others. One method that is not healthy is overconsumption of food. Drugs is not healthy. Overconsumption of food is not healthy. Fucking purging, binge eating and purging and doing all this other stuff and becoming anorexic, that's also not healthy. It's the brain does things, right? So, there's all these different possibilities that we have, and you may have gone to a therapist, or you may not. And if you're, quite frankly, if your therapist is enabling you to continue to be fat, or going down this route of not fixing your overconsumption of food, that's no good. So the whole food addiction thing is a very hard, like I said, it's very hard to jerk, and using food as a coping mechanism makes it even fucking harder. I think that's something a lot of people kind of get wrong about fat people, right? Obviously, you get to a point where you're just too big and you're lazy, right? You're not going out and you're not working out. But the other side of it that a lot of people don't consider is the whole mental health aspect. Granted, there are quite a few people, and we're in the mental health renaissance where people are championing various disorders and things of that sort, trying to spread awareness. But taking the whole, don't get me wrong, fat people, if you get to that size, obviously you're lazy. But the other side of it is their mental health, right? There was something that triggered this, and they gotta go get help. Obviously, it's not yours, it's not mine, it's not anyone else's responsibility besides that person's to go out and get that help, to seek it, to take the first step. There's nothing you can do for anybody else if they don't want help. That's the sad reality. It's the same for addicts. You look at the show Intervention and stuff like that, and people who are on those shows, if they don't want to get help, they're not going to get help. It's really that simple. They're not going to go out of their way to go to a fucking rehab thing to get help if they don't want to. And sometimes they do it just to satisfy the momentary discomfort that they may feel, and that they're satisfy the discomfort that their friends and family may feel, so that way they don't get cut off. And then when they get out, they can go right back into it because they didn't really want help in the first fucking place. So it's one of those things where they have to want to get help. If they don't want to get help, it's really, you can't do much. No amount of information you give them, no amount of this, that, or the other you try to give them will ever get them to a point where they want to help themselves. It's just not how it works. They have to, some information may kind of open their eyes, and we'll say that, and they'll be like, man, maybe I do need to go do something. But expecting info dumping on people to kind of, and then calling them fat, lazy, this, that, and the other, it's not really going to get them to change, quite frankly. Obviously, the culmination in some cases, people get bullied enough, they want to change. But at the same time, wanting to change because you were bullied into submission isn't exactly the healthiest way of doing things. Because chances are you are going to switch one addiction for another. It's almost guaranteed, right? From what I understand, what I've read and seen, that's a common thread between addicts. Someone, you'll see it all the time. Someone gets off of something as bad as heroin, and they'll either become extremely obese because they'll get a food addiction, or they'll get addicted to cigarettes, or they'll get addicted to alcohol. They'll go to one of those things, because at least societally, those three things are seen better than heroin, especially cigarettes and food. Alcohol, not so much, but at least compared to heroin, I guess it is better. I'm not really sure, but it's a constant struggle and whatnot. And when you go to lose weight, and when you go on this health journey, you need to make sure you're doing it for yourself and and if you're doing it for anyone else, it needs to be a damn good reason why you're doing it for anyone else. If you were a father who is 500 pounds or 400 pounds, and you can't spend time with your kids as much as you want, or a mother, going off to losing weight, that's an amazing reason. Wanting to spend time with your family, which is something that is going to help you. It's a reason for you. You're doing it for yourself because doing those things make you happy, right? Going off to lose weight or body build because you want to get chicks, because you were bullied into submission, this, that, the other, those are not reasons you should do this. You should not go into the weight loss fitness journey because it's not going to last. It's not going to last. You're going to get either that, or you're going to, as far as the bullying is concerned, you're either going to not last and crash your fucking diet, right? Or you're going to half-ass it or you're gonna find a new addiction. You're gonna go off and you're gonna lose all this weight, and then you're gonna get addicted to cigarettes or drugs, right? Or alcohol, right? One of those things. So it's very important to be very much so. I want to help myself. I want to do this for me. I don't want to do this for anyone else. I don't want to do this because I was called, in my case, my nickname in middle school was Jelly Roll. Quite frankly, it didn't do anything for me. It didn't make me want to lose any weight any faster. In high school, I didn't have any, meanish nicknames or anything of that sort. But it's still, I wasn't motivated to lose weight because I didn't give a shit. I'm like, yeah, these people call me Jelly Roll, whatever. I can get bullied for being fat. I don't care. It is what it is. Because losing weight's hard. It's not easy. It's fucking hard. It's easy to just sit around and do all this other stuff, but it's not easy to lose weight. And then even more than that, it's not easy to lose weight for yourself and to do it to help yourself. That's even harder, I think. At least to me, So definitely when you go off this stuff and you try to shirk your food addictions, your sugar addictions, and all these other things, you need to make sure that you're doing it for yourself and you're doing it for the right reasons. Not because you were called fat by some, 1,000 people on Instagram or TikTok or something like that, or you were, they told you the cut was going to be insane, or someone told you can pick up chicks, or you can get more guys, or, that you're uglier because you're fat, or, stuff like that. Don't let that be the reason why you go do weight loss. Do it for yourself, because that's the only way it's going to be sustainable. For me, I want to lose weight because, first off, it's going to help with my asthma. It's going to only make my health better. And, when I inevitably have kids, I want to be able to spend as much time with them as possible and be able to spend as much quality time with them as possible. I want to be able to play with them and keep up with my fucking kids. And that's my idea. And the other thing, I said it before, I'm an anime fan. I've seen tons of anime where they're fucking ripped. I've seen Baki, right? I watched Baki. I saw Baki's physique, Jack Hama's physique, fucking Yujiro's physique, Hanayama's physique, fucking Specs physique, Sikorsky's physique, all these fucking characters in Baki, all of them, who have these fucking ridiculous physiques. I wanted to have something like that. I mean, obviously learning more about it, I realized that, without the use of Tren and extreme training, because Tren is only, at that level to where you can look like those characters, Tren is only half the battle. Extreme training is the other half, and I believe that's probably 70% of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. But yeah, like, extreme training and being very mindful of what you're eating. Those two things. But instead of going the steroid use, fuck that. I already got enough issues with my lungs as it is. I don't need to add on to the fucking the organ debuff fucking category. I'd rather just train hard, which for now I train as hard as I possibly could, and within the amount of time I have, so I can comfortably go into the gym and gain muscle and lose fat. Right? I train as hard as I need to for right now. I guess later down the line, because beforehand I used to do 6 out of 7 days a week. I'm down 4 out of 7. Maybe I can go a little higher. I don't know. I gotta look more into it because I get conflicting things. Some people never take a rest day. Some people encourage to have like 3 rest days. But I think a lot of that applies to where you are in your weight loss and bodybuilding journey. If you're very much so a beginner, obviously you're not going to be fucking smashing sets out 7 days a week. You're not going to be doing what Sam Sulek does, it seems. It's just not possible because you're a beginner. Sam's been doing this for fuck knows how long, as an example. Noel Diesel, however many days he fucking works out, you're not going to be able to copy these people because they're professionals and they've been doing it for a very long time. You're probably going to have to start at 3-4 days a week, quite frankly. And maybe just an hour at that, an hour a day. It may suck, but it's what you got to do. So yeah, for me, for my reasons, like I said, the whole familial thing, wanted to be more healthy, make my body feel better, especially with my asthma. Having a fat ass body doesn't really fucking help when you have asthma, especially chronic asthma, where you have severe allergies to every fucking thing, I guess. Because apparently I'm allergic to all the grass and fucking trees. You guys, you tell me to touch grass, you might as well tell me to kill myself. But anywho, so yeah, I just wanted to talk about that type of stuff. You know, nothing crazy, I guess. Yeah, this video should probably be a lot longer than my other ones because of this ending segment. But hopefully at least some of the stuff I said made sense. And I feel like I may have left some things out that I probably should have expanded on more. But you know, what can you fucking do, right? What can you do? Yeah. Anywho, you know, like I said, the moral of today's lesson, I think, and the important thing of today's workout comes from two things. Oh, fucking got a notification. It comes from two things. The first thing is to constantly work on yourself and learn, right? Learn how to properly work out. Learn how to, you know, properly, you know, use your diet and make your diet good. Another thing, do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. Don't do it for, you know, any other reason than you want to, for your health, for your happiness, okay? Not because you were bullied, not because, you know, your friends are doing it, your heart's not fully in it. You know, do it because you believe that your heart is in the right place. That's where your heart will be in the right place, right? And also, make sure you work on your health, your mental health as well. You know, do the Iron Temple. Don't just go to the gym, go to the Iron Temple. Because you're never going to see any significant progress if you're not working on your mind as well as your body. Especially for people who are losing weight, it's more of a mind battle than it is a body battle. You know, people who are skinny, it's the antithetical. At least that's the common knowledge, I believe. They're more of a physical battle than a mental battle. Fatter people, or fat fucks, mental battle more than a physical battle. So just make sure you work on yourself in every aspect so that way you can get the best results and be the best version of yourself. And that's all I really have to say today. So I guess now we can move on to the stat screen. I'll catch you guys tomorrow on leg day. Because even though I'm not doing leg day tomorrow, I'm going to still probably do it on Wednesday, and you'll still get the video on Tuesday. So we'll see. Anyway, on to the stat screen.